Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here. In today's video, I'll be bringing you guys a 90-man roster breakdown for the Washington Commanders. I'll be going through the strengths and weaknesses of the Washington Commanders roster, talk about some surprise cuts, and how this roster stacks up compared to other teams. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and that notification bell as well. It takes 3 seconds, just do it. It would really help out a ton. Also, check out Man to Sleep. Use code HTTC for 10% off. So, it's been about over 2 weeks since the NFL draft, and the Washington Commanders, their roster is pretty much set. They might make a few more moves, but it's pretty much set. And real quick, I am pre-recording this video, so this video is being recorded on May 14th. Will probably be posted in the next 10 days or so. But the Washington Commanders have about 90 players in the roster. There's a few that Spot Track doesn't have, but they're at 90 because they did release Alex Erickson and Drew White to, sign a couple on draft free agents and guys that were at the rookie minicamp. So that, they're done. They're done. They might make a couple, moves, maybe, hopefully sign a linebacker, but I doubt it happens. But they signed some undrafted free agents and guys that were at the rookie minicamp. Some of these guys are Kazmir Allen, wide receiver / returner out of UCLA. I think he has a chance to make the roster. Zion Bowens, Tim DeMorat, quarterback out of Fordham, DeMarcus Fields. Drew Himmelman is not an undrafted free agent, but he is a unit, 6'10". That's what he was listed at on the roster. Let's see. Kyrick McGowan was an undrafted free agent last year out of Georgia State. You got Joshua Pryor, Jalen Sample, Kendall Smith, who was a safety out of Illinois, which, same school as Quan Martin. And then you got, Jalen Sample had a nice catch in rookie minicamp. You got DJ Sturgis, Nick Whiteside, Xavier Henderson, Mitchell Tinsley, wide receiver out of Penn State. I think he has a shot to possibly make the roster. Then you got Bryce Tremaine, who they gave a huge signing bonus to, and same thing with Mason Brooks, a tackle / guard, I believe out of Oklahoma. So that is the roster. And now let's get into some of the strengths and weaknesses from this roster. So on offense, the receiving core, it's a very, very good receiving core. Is it top 3? Probably not, but it's definitely top 10 and probably, better than that. You got Terry McLaurin, who is an elite receiver. Then you got Jahan Dotson, who has a chance to be a really, really good receiver in this league. He had a good season last year, got hurt though, and, we were run-heavy offense for a lot of the season, so who knows what he really could have been. So, that's, adds some potential to this group. And you got Curtis Samuel's a very solid option. And then De'Ami Brown, who is a good 4th option to have. Hopefully he steps up a little bit this year and gets a little bit, some more targets. Give him some more targets for sure. So receiving core, don't have to talk about it too much. It's a good group. It's a good group for sure. Then you go to, let's go quarterback. I'm not going to talk about it too much because we've been talking about, and we will be talking about quarterback the whole offseason. It is I don't know. We'll see. It's a TBD. I don't know. Sam Howell, how well will he play this year? That's the question. He, looked good in that last game, but how will he look over a 18-game season? That is the real question. I think he'll be better than Heineke and Wentz. Definitely Wentz. But, how much better is the real question. Can he go out there and, let's say, throw 24, 25 touchdowns and less than 15 interceptions? Because if he can, that's an upgrade over what we had last year. And you got to add in his rushing, which he'll get you a decent amount of rushing yards. He will, because that's one of his strengths. That's one of his strengths for sure. And I'm excited to see him as a runner because what we saw in the preseason last year and in the Cowboys game, I think he can be a very high-level runner in the NFL. Not necessarily in that Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson range, but the tier right below that. I think he can be in that tier. He's not as quick as someone like Daniel Jones, but I feel like he's more shifty and can kind of maybe avoid / break some tackles and make guys miss more than Daniel Jones does. So that's kind of Sam Howell and then Jacoby Brissett, elite level backup, low tier starter, played well before Deshaun Watson got back from his suspension. And if he has to play, I'm not worrying about that at all. And then now you move on to running backs. It's a solid room. It's a solid room. You got Brian Robinson, who played well last year after coming back from that unfortunate event. And, I think if that wouldn't have happened, he would have had a much better season, but still look good. And I think this year will be a little bit more efficient playing behind a better, O-line. And we'll get over 1,000 yards rushing. And then Gibson is the real X factor. Will he finally develop into that pass-catching back we thought he would, or at least, high-level pass-catching back. He's gotten like 300, 350 yards before, but never 500 plus like J.D. McKissic has, and I think he can do that. I really do believe he can do that. With Eric Bieniemy, I think that's really gonna finally happen, come to fruition. He's done wonders for Jerick McKinnon, who had 9 receiving touchdowns with the Chiefs. So I'm excited to see that. And Chris Rodriguez, don't think he'll make it too much of an impact, but he'll get some carries, short yardage situations for sure. And then Jared Patterson, Jonathan Williams, they'll be fighting for that last running back spot, both of them. And moving on to, let's go O-line. It's a better group. It's a better group for sure. The question is, how much better? Your starting lineup's probably going to be left tackle, Charles Leno, left guard, who knows? It could be Ricky Stromberg if he looks good, Sadiq Charles, or Chris Paul. Maybe I'm leaning towards Ricky Stromberg. I don't know. Center will be Nick Gates. Right guard will be Cosme, and then right tackle Wiley. Your right tackle is an upgrade over what you had last year in Lucas and Cosme, and then your right guard will be an upgrade over Turner, I believe. Your center will be an upgrade because everyone was out last year. Left guard, who knows? It'll probably be an upgrade because Norwell was terrible, but the options don't look amazing. And the left tackle, it'll be the same, but maybe Leno plays a little bit better because he was hurt down the stretch when he was really not playing great. So I don't think this O-line is going to be elite. Not asking it to be elite. Not even asking it to be above average. If it can be if it can be an average line, that's a huge improvement over what we had last year and will help set up Sam Howell for success. So this will be an upgraded line. Just how much is like quarterback is the real question. But I'm excited to see what Cosme can do, and I think that Wiley will be an upgrade over Cosme for sure. And huge shout out to Manta Sleep for sponsoring this video. They make the best sleep masks in the world. They have a bunch of different types, some that can change temperature and make it, cooler or hotter for you when you want, go to sleep depending on the season. They also have ones with speakers so you can change what you're listening to before you go to bed and when you wake up. They sent me one about a month ago, been using it every single night, and it has drastically improved my sleep. I don't go to sleep without a Manta sleep mask. So make sure you guys use code HTTC for 10% off. Link in the description, and link will be the pinned comment. Okay, so now the last position on the offense that I've been talking about, tight end. It's a little bit of a below average group in my opinion, unless one of the younger guys really breaks out. You got Logan Thomas, who's back. I thought they should have moved on from him, but they're bringing him back. He had a disappointing 2022 season. Was in coming back from that nasty injury. Also was dealing with some injuries. So they believe he's going to be better this year. I think he will be better. The question is, again, how much better? So I think it'll be in between his 2020 or this past season, the 2022 season, and his 2020 season for the Commanders. I think it'll be a little bit in between those two seasons. They are still paying him a decent amount, about $9 million. So it would be nice if he could have a solid season. He's a good leader though, and is I think he grew up in the Virginia area. I know he lives here obviously, and went to Virginia Tech as well. Other guys that are competing for roster spots: John Bates, you got Cole Turner, you got Armani Rogers, and Curtis Hodges. I think they'll keep 3, probably 4 tight ends. I think John Bates probably makes it just because of his blocking ability, and then after that it's going to be a competition between Cole Turner and Curtis Hodges and Armani Rogers. They really like Curtis Hodges, so don't sleep on him in terms of making the roster. And Cole Turner, Armani Rogers, they're going to have to show something, to separate themselves from each other. That's what I really want to see. Okay, so now on to defense. The Washington Commanders defense, I really think is going to be very good this year. I think they were 6th or 7th, in terms of most of the rankings last year. And I think, in terms of their actual defense, it's going to be better. They might be playing tougher opponents, which might lower the rankings a bit, but I think overall they will be better this year. They added a bunch in the secondary in Emmanuel Forbes and Quan Martin. They also, Chase Young's going to be back this year fully, and that's kind of the biggest X factor, how good he's going to be. I think Jamin Davis will take a jump from year 2 to year 3 like he did from year 1 to year 2. So I think all those things will help out this defense a ton. And, it was already good defense last year. I think it's going to be better this year. Also, you got Pedro Mathis coming back, John Ridgway for a whole year. So I'm excited for sure. D-line, we don't have to talk about it a ton. This is a very, very good group. I think it's top 3, maybe the best D-line in football, but I think it's definitely in that top 3 range. You got Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, the best defensive tackle duo in all of football, in my opinion. Then you got Montez Sweat. You know what you're getting in him. He's a very good pass rusher, or he's a very solid pass rusher. Going to get you 7 to 9 sacks every season. He hasn't gotten to that next level yet, and I could see it happening in his contract year. And, he's always like a half second late, and this year I think he could start finishing those sacks. And Chase Young's the biggest X factor. I mean, we played well without him last year, but if he can, play like he did in 2020, the second half of that year, this defense is going to be special. And if he plays like he did in 2021, well, it's still going to be good, just not as good as it could be. And, excited to see Pedro Mathis in his second year. I think he'll help in the run game, and I think he'll help keep Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne fresh. I think that's going to be the biggest thing there. Their snaps were high quality last year. I think they're going to be higher quality this year because they get some more, a little bit of a, break. And I like John Ridgway as well. I really, really like our D tackles. I mean, you got Allen, Payne, and then Ridgway and Mathis, all very, very good players. Or, Allen and Payne are good players, and then Ridgway and Mathis are very, very good backups and / rotational guys. And, yeah, I'm excited to see what they can do. You go on to the linebackers. This is a group on the team, one of the weakest units in my opinion. Jamin Davis is okay and has a chance. This is his 3rd year, and he was, a lot of people thought he was a project coming in. So this could be the year he really blossoms, and that could affect this room. But I think this is the weakest unit on the team, probably, just because of the depth, man. You got David Mayo on this roster. I'm trying to find his name here. Yeah, you got David Mayo here. It's just, Khalil Cousins solid, but, I don't want to see him playing a ton, even though, yeah, he does have, he's had some good games. Like the last game of the season, he played pretty well, but you got to get some more depth. Sign a veteran or something. I know you played 2 linebackers, but you played 2 linebackers last year. One of them got hurt, and you had to play David Mayo and John Bostic, and that cost you on defense. So I don't want to see another game where we have to play David Mayo more than a few snaps in the game. I don't want to see him play any defensive snaps. He's a special teams guy. And, yeah, that's just my take on the linebacker position. I think we need to upgrade it, and I think it's one of the weakest links on the defense, or on the team, but on the defense for sure. And, D-line's the strongest unit on the team, and receiver is as well. So that's kind of the linebackers. Secondary safeties, I like this group. You got, Cam Curl, who is one of the better safeties in the league and might get paid this offseason. Then you got Derek Forrest, who has, had 4 interceptions last year, was the only guy consistently getting interceptions for us. And then you got Jeremy Reeves, who is a very good special teams player, okay depth piece. And then Percy Butler, who has some potential. And then Quan Martin, who's a safety / corner. We'll see what he does. But I'm really excited for that group. I think it's a very, very well-rounded group. And you got, a bunch of different combinations. You could have Quan Martin and Cam Curl starting. You could have Derek Forrest and Cam Curl starting, and Quan Martin at Buffalo nickel, or you could have Quan Martin and Cam Curl starting and Derek Forrest at Buffalo nickel. A lot of different combinations. I'm excited. Or you could just have Derek Forrest and Cam Curl starting, and then Quan Martin at, slot corner. There's a lot of different spots he could be at, and I'm very excited to see what this defense can do this new secondary, looks like. And then cornerbacks, you got Kendall Fuller, you got Benjamin St. Juste, and you got Emmanuel Forbes. Those are going to be your starting corners more likely than not. I don't know what's going to happen. If it's going to be Benjamin St. Juste inside or Kendall Fuller inside. Both of those guys have experience playing inside, but I think Emmanuel Forbes will be outside. But who knows? Kime said he was playing in the slot in minicamp, but that could just be a coincidence there. But that's, and then they got Danny Johnson, I think will make the teams a good veteran to have on the team, very versatile and played solid last year. And then you have, what's his name, Cam Dantzler from Mississippi State, played with Emmanuel Forbes. He could make the roster. You got Rashad Wildgoose, Tariq Castro Fields, who they claimed last offseason. So this group is talented, very, very young, which is why I don't think they're going to move on from Kendall Fuller, because they have like no experience in that room. Like, it's Benjamin St. Juste, who's in his third year, and then everyone else is super, super young. So I don't think you should move on from Cameron Curl. I mean, him, yeah, but Kendall Fuller as well. And that's kind of it for the defense. This is a good defense, and I'm excited to see what they can do. So overall, strengths on the team. Offensively, I would say, receiver is a strength. Defensively, I would say D-line is a strength. And you can throw in safety, honestly, as well. I think it's a good group. And then defensively, weaknesses overall, linebacker is a big weakness in my opinion. Then I would probably still say O-line and maybe tight end are the weaknesses of this team. But I think O-line has a chance to not be a weakness depending on how Cosme and whoever the left guard plays. So yeah, I think overall this is a solid roster. It's going to come down to the quarterback play this year to see how we are. And surprise cuts, I know I talked about it in the video. I don't know if I see many big ones. Talked about, Kendall Fuller earlier. I don't think that's going to happen. And, Logan Thomas, maybe Logan Thomas if those other young tight ends play really, really well in the offseason. I just don't think they're going to go into the season without a veteran on the roster. So I think Logan Thomas is pretty safe as well. Maybe Cornelius Lucas is a guy I could see as a surprise cut. And yeah, that's kind of it. So that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and peace.